Have you ever felt a gentle current under your skin like your whole being is humming, telling you something has shifted, but no one else can see it yet? Most people think it's just a mood. But Stanford neuroscience proves your heart's electromagnetic field can ripple out feet beyond your body, meaning your inner shift literally changes the world around you. What if those moments, that calm breath, that spark of gratitude are signs your vibration is rising? In this video, you'll see the 5 clearest signs your energy is leveling up, and how to hold this frequency so it transforms your reality. Miss this, and you'll slip back into your old loops without even knowing it. Watch to the end. Your future self will thank you. Did you know that right now, as you sit here listening, your thoughts are moving like tiny electrons, shifting, expanding, collapsing possibilities into form? Quantum physics calls this the observer effect. The moment you observe something, you're no longer separate from it, you're shaping it. Imagine your mind like a butterfly's wings, each thought a soft flap that stirs the entire quantum field around you. Nothing is fixed. Everything is potential, waiting for you to choose the frequency you wish to live in. But this shift doesn't happen in the mind alone. Modern neuroscience and the HeartMath Institute remind us that your brain, heart, and nervous system work like an orchestra. When they play in harmony, your entire energy field becomes coherent. Studies show that when your heart rate variability, HRV, improves, a key measure of coherence, your resilience to stress can increase by up to 46%. You start to heal faster, think clearer, and even connect more deeply with your intuition. The polyvagal theory explains how your vagus nerve, like an ancient messenger, helps your body feel safe enough to rest, to trust, to open. When your nervous system feels safe, your vibration naturally rises, not through force, but through inner alignment. So next time you feel a sudden wave of calm in the middle of chaos, that's your vagus nerve doing its quiet work. Think of this. Each breath you take is an instruction to your quantum field. Each heartbeat is a signal that ripples far beyond your skin. You're not just a passive observer, you're a living transmitter. You see, coherence isn't just a spiritual idea. It's a real state your body can measure, practice, and expand. In nature, coherence looks like birds moving in a perfect flock or waves rolling in rhythm. In you, it feels like clarity, deep calm, and subtle joy bubbling for no reason. What could happen if you learned to hold that state more often? What would your reality look like if your mind, heart, and body pulsed in tune? Studies from Stanford, Harvard, and HeartMath keep proving that our bodies are designed to do this, to generate signals that reshape what we attract. So the next time you catch yourself feeling peaceful in a moment that used to trigger you, pause and notice. Your frequency is shifting. Your energy is broadcasting a new message. Your reality listens. You might be wondering, is this really possible for me? What does it look like in daily life? Stay with me, because we're about to dive into the first real sign that you're vibrating at a higher frequency. The subtle piece that shows up when you least expect it. Let's explore this together, and if you feel something resonate, share your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear. What tiny signals have you noticed that your vibration is already rising? Have you ever thought about how peace can be so soft you almost miss it? Subtle peace is like a secret garden inside you, invisible to the rushing world but deeply alive. It's the first true sign you're vibrating at a higher frequency. This kind of peace doesn't mean your life is suddenly problem-free or perfectly organized. It means that, even when chaos knocks on your door, your nervous system no longer answers with the same fear or fight. Neuroscience shows us how this works. When you're stressed, your brain fires in high beta waves, the limbic system stays on high alert, scanning for threats. But as you shift into subtle peace, your brain moves into alpha waves, gentle, creative, calming frequencies that invite your frontal cortex, the home of higher thinking, to take the lead. The HeartMath Institute found that when people practice coherence breathing, their heart rate variability, HRV, can increase by 46%, building real resilience. Think about that. Your body has a hidden dial for calm, and you can turn it up anytime. Maya, a graphic designer from Vancouver, knows this firsthand. Just last year, her mornings were a battlefield of racing thoughts, shallow breaths, and tension in her neck before she even opened her eyes. She thought the world had to change for her to feel safe. But something shifted. Now, when her alarm rings, There's a tiny pause, a soft gap before her mind jumps. She notices her heartbeat feels slower, her breath deeper. The world outside hasn't transformed overnight, but her inner landscape has. That is subtle peace. It is the invisible garden you cultivate by noticing it. Want to check if it's blooming in you? Try this micro-inquiry. Place your hand over your chest, take a deep breath, and ask, where does my mind feel quiet today? What part of me feels softer than yesterday? Which old fear feels a little less heavy? This small practice moves you from being trapped in thought to being the loving observer. And as quantum physics reminds us, the moment you observe something, you collapse it into reality. This is the observer effect in motion. You might ask, but what if I lose this peace? What if life drags me back into noise? It will happen. That's normal. The nervous system is wired to react, but it's also wired to heal. When you feel your subtle peace slip away, pause and return to your breath. Try this simple coherence ritual. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. This pattern signals your vagus nerve to calm the limbic system and reawaken your frontal cortex. The polyvagal theory shows that this sense of safety in your body is the foundation for higher vibration, because when you feel safe, you open to life instead of bracing against it. Remember, peace doesn't depend on the outside. It is nurtured by the signals you send inside. Imagine your mind like a butterfly's wings. Each calm thought, each soft exhale ripples out, changing the weather of your entire energy field. Real subtle peace is what allows creativity, intuition, and deep rest to flourish. When you begin to notice this delicate calm where anxiety used to live, you are tuning your frequency to a new song. So, what about you? Have you felt this invisible calm lately, even for a moment? What has softened in you? Tell me in the comments. Your story might remind someone that peace is possible for them too. And don't go anywhere yet, because the next sign is about to get even more real. Sign number 2, the release of physical tension. Your body knows how to let go long before your mind does. Let's explore that together. Before we dive into this next sign, take a moment. If you're finding these insights meaningful, give this video a like and hit subscribe. It helps this space grow so we can journey deeper together. Now, let's step into sign number 2, the release of physical tension. A sign so gentle yet so powerful that most people don't realize it's a signal their frequency is rising. Have you ever felt your body unclench in places you didn't even know were tight? Imagine your fascia, the connective tissue wrapping your muscles as a shimmering web of energy, storing every worry, every moment you braced against life. Science shows that tension doesn't just sit in your mind, it lives in your cells. When you vibrate higher, that web begins to soften. You might feel your shoulders drop naturally, your jaw relax, your breath deepen without effort. This is your body speaking in its ancient language. Safety, release, expansion. Maya, the same young woman we met before, once found herself sobbing during a simple meditation. She didn't know why. There was no big thought, no dramatic story, just her shoulders releasing years of hidden weight. It surprised her. But neuroscience explains this beautifully. The vagus nerve, your body's calm switch, becomes more active when you shift into coherence, inviting muscles to unclench and tension to melt. Research from the University of North Carolina shows that when the vagus nerve is toned, people report less physical pain and more feelings of ease. But here's something deeper. Releasing physical tension often stirs emotional waves. You might feel sadness, grief, or memories rise like old ghosts passing through. That's normal. Your body is the house of your story when you let it breathe. The stories that no longer serve you are free to leave. Want to experience this for yourself? Try this simple somatic scan. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and slowly move your awareness from your forehead down to your jaw, shoulders, belly, hips, and feet. At each point, whisper to yourself, "It's safe to let go here." Feel how your fascia, that spider web of energy, loosens its grip with every exhale. Sometimes, all it takes is 30 seconds of noticing. You might be amazed by how much weight you've been carrying that was never really yours to hold. And remember, this isn't about forcing your body to relax. The more you fight, the tighter it clings. It's about showing your nervous system through gentle breath and attention that it's safe now, safe enough to soften, safe enough to expand, safe enough to hum at a higher frequency. Have you ever felt this? That subtle drop of your shoulders in the middle of a busy day? Or that long, deep sigh you didn't know you were holding? Tell me below in the comments. Your story might remind someone else that release is not just physical, it's spiritual. It's vibrational. Because every time you let your body loosen, you're sending out a new signal to the quantum field. I am ready to live with less armor, more flow. And that changes everything. Stay with me, because next we'll step into sign number 3, how your relationships and environments begin to shift. This is where the energy you hold inside starts echoing into the spaces and people around you. You won't want to miss it. Have you ever wondered why some connections fade so quietly, like leaves drifting from a tree when the season changes? Sign number 3. Shifting relationships and environments is one of the clearest signals you're vibrating at a higher frequency, yet it's the one many people fear the most. When your energy rises, it naturally disrupts old patterns, and people who once felt like home can suddenly feel heavy, distant, or out of tune. This isn't because you're better than them, it's because you're simply no longer resonating on the same wavelength. Quantum physics explains this beautifully through resonance. Frequencies that match amplify each other, while those that clash create dissonance. Just like tuning forks that hum together when aligned, your relationships respond to your inner signal. Maya felt this in her own life. For years, she surrounded herself with a group of friends who thrived on gossip, comparison, and subtle competition. But as she began her journey inward, noticing her subtle peace, releasing her body's tension, she realized that her Sunday brunches left her feeling drained, not recharged. She didn't fight or argue. She didn't storm out with dramatic goodbyes. The group just drifted. Conversations felt awkward. Messages slowed. One day, she sat alone at her favorite cafe in Vancouver and realized she felt strangely at ease. It wasn't loneliness, it was space. The void that comes when your old circles dissolve to make room for ones that match your new vibration. If you felt this, know it's natural. When you're raising your frequency, dissonant connections fade. But emptiness is not failure. It's fertile ground. Neuroscience research from UCLA even shows how our brains are wired for social resonance, but also how they adapt to new, healthier connections when we honor our authentic needs. So, how do you hold this shift with kindness? It begins with soft boundaries. You don't have to build walls or cut people out harshly. Instead, think of your energy like a garden. Tend to what nourishes you. Let the weeds drift away on their own. If you feel tension when holding a boundary, breathe into it. Practice saying, "I love you, but I need more space right now." You're not rejecting anyone. You're honoring the frequency you're choosing to live in. And yes, the in-between can feel lonely. This is what many call the void phase, the gap between the old and the new. It's tempting to rush to fill it, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is learn to rest in the emptiness. That quiet space is where new aligned relationships, opportunities, and environments begin to take root. Want to feel more grounded as you move through this? Try this simple self-check. Ask yourself, who makes my shoulders drop? Where do I feel my energy expand? What spaces leave me feeling recharged instead of depleted? These questions shine light on resonance. Notice how your body feels when you enter a room, answer a call, or sit with someone. Your nervous system will tell you the truth long before your mind does. When your inner frequency rises, your outer world rearranges to match it, like iron filings moving to align with a magnet's invisible field. What might you discover if you trusted that shift? Have you felt relationships drifting lately, not from conflict but from simple misalignment? Share your story in the comments. It might help someone realize they're not alone on this path. Remember, every ending carves out space for a new beginning, a truer mirror for who you're becoming. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll explore sign number 4, synchronicity and meaningful coincidences. The magical moments that show you the universe is listening and responding to your new vibration. Have you ever wondered if the universe really speaks to you not in loud declarations but in tiny, perfectly timed moments that feel too precise to be mere chance? Sign number 4. Synchronicity and meaningful coincidences is one of the sweetest reminders that when your vibration rises, reality starts whispering back. You might notice it first in the little things: a song playing the exact words you needed to hear, a stranger mentioning a book you've been thinking about, or a phone call arriving just when you were about to give up. These moments feel like cosmic winks, but they're rooted in something very real. Neuroscience points to the reticular activating system, RAS, a tiny network of neurons at the base of your brainstem that acts like a filter for all the information you take in. The RAS is what helps you spot your name across a noisy room or notice repeating numbers when your mind is tuned to meaning. When you start vibrating at a higher frequency, calmer, clearer, more coherent, your RAS begins to align with your new focus. It doesn't create the synchronicities. It lets you see what's always been there. Eli, a young teacher in Manchester, experienced this firsthand. One morning, he felt an unusual urge to walk a different route to work. Nothing dramatic, just a nudge. Along that new path, he passed a community center with a sign for a volunteer program that matched a project he'd been dreaming about for years. That tiny detour opened a door that months of planning hadn't. Was it magic? Or was it the gentle science of resonance meeting the everyday flow of life? Some people, in their excitement, start chasing signs, grasping at numbers, symbols, messages, trying to force meaning from everything. But true synchronicity isn't about chasing, it's about allowing. It's the difference between pulling petals off a flower to find answers and sitting quietly while the flower blooms in its own time. Your job is not to hunt for signs. Your job is to become the kind of person who naturally attracts them, to stay open, receptive, and anchored in your subtle peace. One beautiful way to strengthen this is with a simple daily ritual. Keep a synchronicity journal. Every evening, jot down any moments, no matter how small, that felt aligned, like hidden threads weaving your path forward. Research from the University of Hertfordshire found that people who consciously track these moments report greater optimism and sense of connection with life. Over time, you'll see a pattern. The more you honor these glimpses, the more they seem to appear. Think of it like tuning a radio. The frequency was always there. You just needed to adjust your dial. Have you felt this? A coincidence so oddly perfect that it made you pause and smile? A conversation you didn't expect that opened your heart or mind? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear how synchronicity shows up for you. Remember, you don't have to explain it to anyone. Some moments are just for you and your expanding field. When you learn to dance with these signs, not cling to them, not control them, but trust them, you become more fluid, more magnetic. Synchronicity is life's way of showing you that you're not alone in this quantum web. Your thoughts, your coherence, your calm choices ripple out and find their match. Stay with me, because this gentle flow of signs leads us into the final piece of this journey. Sign number 5, clarity of purpose and self-worth, where you'll see how all these subtle shifts weave together to help you stand in your truth, anchored in a deep sense of who you really are. Have you ever felt a moment so clear, so rooted in who you truly are, that you didn't need anyone's permission to stand in it? Sign number 5, clarity of purpose and self-worth, is perhaps the most liberating sign you're vibrating at a higher frequency, because this is the place where all the subtle shifts come home to rest inside you. True clarity isn't loud or forceful. It's a quiet knowing that doesn't crumble when others question it. It's the difference between chasing validation and embodying a steady yes to your own soul. Neuroscience shows us that when your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for conscious choice, becomes more active and your default mode network quiets down, you stop looping on what others think and begin to anchor in what you know. Maya felt this deeply. Not long ago, she was offered a big project that looked perfect on paper, but felt off in her gut. Old Maya would have said yes, worried about disappointing others or missing out. But the version of Maya who's been tuning her vibration simply said, "No thank you." No over-explaining. No guilt. Just a quiet honoring of what felt true. She told me later, "It was the first time I trusted that saying no would open space for something better aligned." That's clarity and action purpose, guided by a stable sense of worth that isn't for sale. And here's something you can do to strengthen this in your daily life. Try making your own aligned yes, aligned no list. Grab a piece of paper and write down what feels like a full-body yes in your life. the work, the people, the places that light you up. Then write your clear no's the situations that drain you, the old patterns that pull you back. When you see it in black and white, your nervous system relaxes because you're giving yourself permission to trust your resonance. And if you ever feel wobbly, here's a micro practice. Pause, place your hand over your heart, and affirm softly, I am enough, exactly as I am. This small touch point rewires your brain through what Stanford calls self-directed neuroplasticity, proof that you can literally reshape your pathways for self-worth and purpose by choosing them daily. Remember, clarity doesn't shout for attention. It grows in the quiet moments when you hold your boundaries without anger, when you walk away without drama, when you choose what aligns without needing an audience to clap. This is the frequency of a life lived from the inside out, and when you vibrate here, life starts matching you with opportunities, people, and ideas that reflect your truth back to you. Have you felt this shift yet? That gentle but unshakable knowing that you don't need to twist yourself into someone else's mold? Share your story below. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to remember their own worth. And if you found this insight valuable, consider sharing this video with someone you love because clarity and self-worth expand when we witness them together. Stay close, because in the next part, we'll bring all these signs together with a gentle embodiment practice, so you can integrate this frequency into your everyday moments, not as a concept you chase, but as a state you live. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you stopped just learning about vibration and truly lived it every single day? Integration is where knowing becomes being. It's the gentle art of locking your new frequency into your nervous system, your breath, your relationships. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways is a nightly ritual I call the 3 questions before sleep. Before you close your eyes, place your hand over your heart and ask, what did I do today that felt in resonance? Where did I feel tension or dissonance? What will I choose to amplify tomorrow? These tiny moments of reflection signal your brain's reticular activating system to tune into coherence even while you rest. Neuroscience calls this memory reconsolidation. Your brain reshapes what it believes each time you revisit an experience with awareness. But you're not doing this alone. When you embody a higher frequency, you ripple that energy into every room you enter. Research from MIT on collective entrainment shows that when a group shares a coherent state, heart rates and brain waves begin to sync, a reminder that community is not just support, but amplification. So, find people who hold you in your highest light. Let your frequency be contagious. If you ever doubt your progress, remember this simple mantra. I am the observer. I am the field. I am the frequency. This is you collapsing the wave of who you were and stabilizing who you're becoming. And if there's one thing to take with you, let it be this. Your vibration is your invitation. It shapes what you attract, what you allow, and what you rise to meet. You don't have to force it. You embody it one breath, one boundary, one choice at a time. What do you think? How will you honor your new frequency tonight? Tell me in the comments, and if you're ready to anchor this together, write, I am rising, below, so we can hold this field as one. If this journey spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to remember their power. And don't forget to subscribe so this space of coherence, healing, and resonance grows stronger, together. You're not just watching a video, you're creating a field. And in this field, everything you choose to become is already waiting for you.